My wife tried to shame me at a family barbecue over money my late wife left for our son. A week later, I made sure nobody could touch a dime of it. Not her, not me, nobody. My son was 7 when his mom died of cancer. Before she passed, she got a settlement after medical negligence, and she added her own savings to it. She looked at me and said, "Don't let it get absorbed into anything else. It's his." I promised her I would protect it. Years later, I remarried. My wife had 2 kids, and we later had 2 more together. We agreed we would save monthly for all the kids and treat them fairly. Not equally, fairly. I never mentioned my son's separate money because it was never part of our shared pool. Then life got expensive. Her ex was inconsistent. Bills piled up. One night, she said we needed total financial transparency so we could make smart decisions. I agreed to show everything we had saved together. Then she asked about my son's other accounts. I said no. She said, "I'm his stepmother. Don't I deserve to know?" I said no. That money was left to him. I made a promise and I'm keeping it. Then she said maybe if we knew how much he had, we could focus more on the other kids who had less. That was when I stopped hearing concern and started hearing strategy. She wanted to balance our household on my late wife's final wish. I told her absolutely not. After that, the house turned cold. Then one night while we were folding laundry, she said, "So your son could have 6 figures somewhere, and I'm just supposed to stay in the dark?" I told her it was still none of her business. She said I was treating my late wife like a ghost I was still married to. I told her, "Don't go there." She said, "I knew I married a widower. I didn't know I'd always come second." I said, "This isn't about you. It's about my son." She fired back, "If you'd saved like this for all the kids, maybe we wouldn't be drowning." I snapped. She was turning grief into a budget line. I told her I was not giving up money from my dead wife because her ex couldn't be counted on. She walked out. And the next day, I found out she had asked my 16-year-old directly how much money he had. That crossed a line. When I confronted her, she didn't deny it. She said he was old enough to know what kind of life he was walking into. I told her if she ever used my son to get around me again, we were going to have a very different conversation. That's when I realized this was never just about numbers. It was about control. Then she took it public. Her brother was hosting a barbecue. Kids were everywhere. I was at the grill, trying to have one normal afternoon. Then my wife raised her voice and said, "You know what's wild? Some people have 5 kids and still think money from a dead spouse should be off limits." The yard went quiet. I said, "Not here." She stepped closer. "No, actually here. Maybe someone should weigh in. Maybe someone should explain why I'm treated like an outsider." My son was 10 feet away. Then everything slowed down. Her cousin stopped chewing. Her brother lowered his drink. My son looked at me. My stepkids looked at her. "Again," she said. "He won't even tell me the amount." I handed the tongs to her brother and walked away. Later, at home, she said I embarrassed her. I told her she embarrassed herself. Then she threw a Duplo block at me and hit my shoulder. That stupid plastic brick told me more about my marriage than any argument had. A few days later, she sat me down with printed charts comparing each child's savings. She had labels like equitable redistribution model and worst case divorce split over a teenage boy's money from his dead mother. She even emailed me like I was a coworker. Bullet points, action items, a threat at the end. I sat there reading it, and for the first time in years, I opened the envelope in the back of the closet. The bank papers, the letter from my late wife. In it, she wrote, "If you're reading this with Dad, it means he kept his promise." So I called a lawyer. I set up a trust with an independent executor. It's locked now. Even I can't touch it. It belongs to my son, exactly the way his mother wanted. When I told him, he just nodded. Later that night, he knocked on my door and said, "Mom would have liked that." My wife said I was choosing a dead woman over my living family. I told her, "No, I'm choosing a promise over your conditions. We're separated now. The kids are confused. It's ugly, but I sleep at night. Maybe I should have drawn the line sooner. Maybe I should have said from day one that this part of my life was sacred and untouchable. But I didn't. I waited until everything cracked. Still, I held the line when it mattered, and I'd rather lose a marriage than become the man who broke a dying woman's last request.